Good evening, I am Adventure Argonaut. This is the Golden News, bringing you the news from the past week. First, have to see the functionality of the streams, of course. And yeah, again, I have the opportunity to stream a bit earlier because usually the news streams are later in the day, but since it does take me longer to prepare for the stream than for just a gaming stream, I usually don't have to do any preparation, but I have to get all the articles and stuff together in these kinds of streams and stuff like that. So of course it takes a bit longer, but everything seems to be working. So let's go and see the first story. So, New York City gets a Muslim mayor, Zohran Mamdani. I always have to check the name because I don't remember his names. I don't know. Too complicated. So, of course, even before he was elected, when there was the possibility that he's elected, the establishment was really worried about it. And just because of that, I'm happy he won. It's not like I expect him to improve things, and do I really care? Like, I admit I don't really care so much about the well-being of New Yorkers. Sorry, because I have the impression well, it is a leftist hellhole nowadays. So, um, why does my hello, 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 the mic? Aha. All right. Now, sorry, I had a wrong mic plugged in, so the voice was probably bad, but okay, we are almost at the beginning. Damn it. Incompetence is a virtue. So yeah, Zohran Mamdani is the New York mayor and supposedly a Muslim, and some people don't like it. The establishment people don't like it. I hope you could hear me the first couple of minutes because I had headphones plugged in and they affected the microphone. But anyway, so. And he said, New York will remain a city of immigrants, city built by immigrants, powered by immigrants, and as of tonight, led by an immigrant. Yay. And he said, New York Mayor Zohran Mamdani on why he will empty out prisons. Violence is an artificial construct. Okay, let's have a listen.
Oftentimes, we've even found as legislators, when we go into these courts, the term violent crime is even used when people are stealing packages. Violent crime is even used when people are accused of burglary and there happens to be a housing unit in that same dwelling. So violence is an artificial construction. And we have
Violence is an artificial construction. Like I guess before he sort of I guess explained what he means by it, that somebody stealing some stuff, small stuff that's not really violence, which is true, is still a crime, and it's not usually nice to live in a neighborhood with lots of crime and stuff. Um, but I don't know. It just sounds like bullshit to say that violence is an artificial construct. There's 10 seconds left. Let's
to be very
listen.
clear that what is happening here with these district attorneys, that is violence. That is violence of the highest degree.
Okay. Stolen Hellcat, welcome. Have you seen this? He posted a link. Choose Love Mamdani is their puppet. Okay. Let's see if I can copy the link. Copy current address. Okay, let's see. Can I open the link here? No. It's not the same. Okay, can I somehow? Okay. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't copy it earlier. Now.
out that he's Jewish. His mother was Jewish, his grandmother was Jewish. So, Mr. Mayor, we might find out very soon. Don't hang out with me. So, welcome to our community.
So yeah, Jews love Mamadani is their puppet. That doesn't surprise me, but thanks for the link, Stolen Hellcat. Because yeah, it's the media and stuff try to make it like the Jews don't like him, but it well there probably are very many Jews that don't like him, but like I think it's mostly that it's bread and circuses. They said his mom was Jewish.
We recently met and we found out that he's Jewish. His mother was Jewish, his grandmother was Jewish.
Okay, so that
Mr. Mayor, we might find out very soon.
so yeah, his mom was Jewish, grandmother was Jewish. I guess they're talking about him then.
Hang out with me. So welcome to our community.
Yeah, but anyway, let's move on. But yeah, none of this surprises me. But the Israelis say they will never visit New York City if Mamdani wins and becomes mayor, making president. It's like, yeah, Mamdani is at least he's working for them. I'm pretty sure that they wouldn't allow somebody to take control of New York if he wasn't approved at least. Like if Israelis never like I guess like lower level Israelis who don't really know how the game is played, they might take it seriously and don't want to go to New York. Maybe that's maybe it benefits New Yorkers. I don't know. Yeah, this Israelis say they won't visit New York. Yeah, but of course a bunch of people said they will leave America if Trump won, but he's won twice and they still haven't left. And yeah, why is a Muslim mayor openly joining an LGBT pride parade? Something doesn't add up. Yeah. Well, it adds up in current year Western world, but like, yeah, if he's a, proper Muslim, I think he would be repulsed by the whole idea. And there is this, why is Mamdani wearing a Kabbalah string, the red string? Like, okay, it's not clear. This might be something else. This looks like red something, but this thing doesn't look so red. So, but yeah, this is certainly not conclusive. It's just a picture of showing he has some sort of bracelet or something, but it is still evidence. And Muslim mayor gets voted in next day. Next day, Muslim terror attacks start occurring. Justin car explodes during fire in New York City, injuring multiple firefighters. I don't know if it who did the year ago. Okay, so yeah, this is probably fake news. Fake news. I don't know. But I haven't heard any other claims that there's a terrorist attack recently in New York or anything. So this probably, maybe there was a car explosion, but there might be many reasons for it. So this is the Muslim mayor of New York. So yeah, he has a small hat. Like, of course, I don't know the context of why he's wearing that kind of hat, and so there might be another explanation, or maybe it's like the video suggested that he has Jewish ancestry. And just to remind you that Jews themselves believe that Jewishness is transmitted matrilineally. Like if your mom is a Jew, then you're a Jew. That's how they believe. So whether there is a important genetic component to that, I can't say that it's passed from the mother. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't, but that's what Jews tend to believe. All right, but that's enough about Mamdani. Where I guess I can say my take again that yeah, it's personally I don't feel it affects me, or in the grand scheme of things, and all the quetching over his election, I don't think it's gonna change things much for better or for worse. So mitochondria, so it's like mitochondrial DNA or something. I guess referring to the comment that it's matrilineal. But yeah, I don't think it's gonna make a big difference. It's cosmetic, like even Donald Trump. That for a while I also at least wanted to believe in him, but he hasn't done much to earn. He hasn't drained the swamp, anything like that. But anyway, let's move on. So Japan is getting mass immigration despite new PM. At least there are allegations that the new prime minister Takaichi is, I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting worse with names. Yeah, I think that's her name. She's supposedly very conservative and against mass immigration, but maybe that's just her shtick, like her act. So Japan admits it's planning for 12 million foreigners by 2040 and will use taxpayer money to fund their integration. Japan's Justice Ministry now projects that foreigners could make up to 10% of the nation's population, over 12 million people, by 2040. Officials say the government must smoothly transition to such a society, acknowledging that large-scale demographic change is already underway. A ministry-led group has proposed a vision for a society where everyone lives together, signaling a push towards permanent multiculturalism. Like this society where everyone lives together is like, it's so vapid, it's offensive. Like doesn't mean anything, or unless it means that everybody lives like you're gonna have a one huge building, like Scrooge McDuck. I have to the uh his vault or whatever, where he has his money. Hello. Oh no, the computer doesn't like me doing this. Hello. Scrooge McDuck vault, or what is it called? His, where he stashes his money. Yeah, this place. So yeah, they're gonna build. All of Japan is gonna build like very big building like this with no walls except outside, and everybody's gonna live together there. Is that what it means? Because like those kinds of bureaucratic language is so, I hate it. Anyways, so yeah, permanent multiculturalism. Under the plan, taxpayers will foot the bill for Japanese language and cultural training programs. Let's close these to make the faster because I have too many tabs open. Under the plan, taxpayers will foot the bill for Japanese language and cultural training programs to help foreigners integrate. The government says foreigners need to learn Japanese. Okay, that's good, but admits this education system will be built and funded through public money. Meanwhile, new data flow shows that 27 municipalities across Japan already have foreign population above 10%, decades ahead of projections. Some towns in Hokkaido and Osaka now have foreigner ratios as high as 30%, sparking debate about Japan's future identity. The issue isn't whether this is good for Japan, it's that the government has already decided this transition is happening. Transition in Tel Aviv or wherever. But yeah, it's like if a place has a foreign population, like a big city if it has foreign population around 10%, I think that's generally acceptable. Of course, it depends on the population, but it's like 30%. Tokyo or something. I guess, but it's like regardless of what country we are talking about, like I do think that every country should be, because I believe in the actual diversity of races and ethnicities and countries. That I like that there are there's Japanese and Germans and Nigerians and whatever, and that it's also nice when people from these cultures can um, communicate and cooperate in a consensual manner. But like this isn't really consensual the way it's happening, and it's also like if let's if a Japanese city has 50% or more, foreigners, then it's not so Japanese anymore. And if it keeps going in a few decades or centuries, there won't be Japan anymore. Okay, it's over. The Japanese government has admitted they plan to have 12 million foreigners by 2040. Did I read all of it? Yeah, I read it. If you're lucky. The concern is not whether this is good for the nation, but how to make the transition smooth. Taxpayer money will be used to teach them language and customs. So, who are the people in the government? Is it like everybody in the government, some certain bureaucrats, or is it politicians, elected politicians? Who are the people responsible for this, and why? Because in Japan, at least, maybe the media isn't as controlled as in the West. In some, like, maybe people can actually be asking these questions publicly still. So currently, foreigners make up 3% of the population, but Justice Minister Keisuke Suzuki has projected that by around 2040 it could reach 10%. We need to start discussing now how to smoothly transition to such a society. In August, a private study group led by Justice Minister released a summary of issues regarding foreigner acceptance, emphasizing the need to consider social integration for a society where everyone lives together. Triggering. Everyone lives together. This direction is important. So, what specific policies are needed to help foreigners integrate into local communities? First, foreigners need to learn Japanese. It's basically the same stuff I read already. Okay, and mosques are slowly but surely spreading across Japan. Only 3 in 1980, but now there are 392 planned for the near future. And yeah, I don't think there are many Muslims yet in Japan, so I wonder how they're gonna get them there. Like, yeah, if you type mosque into Google Maps in Japan, you can see that there are more and more. Interestingly enough, the Muslim population is barely growing, so then why are there so many more mosques? Yeah, wasn't there some study like within last year or last 2 years there was only one single Muslim convert in Japan, and he wasn't even Japanese. So I wonder who could be behind this Islamization. Of course, it's certain Muslims, but another Middle Eastern group I'm pretty sure is involved. And of course, my phone rang. Always when I stream. Well, not always, but anyway. And then, did you know that before Sanae Takaichi, the prime minister, one in 5 Japanese prime ministers belong to a faith that less than 1% of Japanese people practice. That faith is Christianity, and my latest article is about how Christians in Japan became part of the elite. I'm not gonna read the stuff, but okay, this is like, if Takaichi is Christian, then I'm pretty sure she's gonna cuck on immigration. And this isn't to shit on Christianity per se, but like, in a country like Japan where Christianity is, well, 1% only, and if a politician who is a Christian gets into a position, it's, I smell she's more a Shabbos goy or something like that instead of some Christian who I could actually respect and stuff. But like, no, this is, this is Judeo Christianity. I'm pretty sure that she believes in. And then there's this. Of course, the government has already decided. People just need to understand that the government doesn't operate from Japan. So yeah, she is, Sanae Takaichi, and what flag is that? It's Qatar, right? It's the Qatarians, the Qataris, the whatever. Yeah, Japan admits it's planning for 12 million foreigners by 2040. Blah blah blah. Same stuff. Yeah. Well, this is Japan related, but it's more Chinese, whatever. So, but to anyone claiming that the Japanese are exaggerating online about anti-Japanese sentiment, take a look at this sign in Guangzhou, in China. Japanese and dogs not allowed. Is this not offensive? Is this not disrespectful? So yeah, of course it's yeah, Qatar did 9/11 exactly. But like 100 years ago, weren't there some places like, when during the Japanese Empire in Shanghai or whatever that said Chinese and dogs are not allowed. But it's like, I don't know. This is at best this is very petty. Like, okay, 100 years ago they did something, and now Chinese are not proving them to be, morally superior. They just wanna, copy Japanese like they've been doing for, a long time. Basically, just copy what Japan does because Japan usually does it better. But that's that. Let's move on to other stories. News stories. So Arwol is dead to Fuentes. So who the fuck is Arwol? It's this guy. Um, so he's the president of Return to the Land PMA. So I don't know a great deal about this guy. I first heard about him a few months ago. There was some controversy that he had, like, in his, previously in his life he had done some porn with his wife or something, and but now he's changed his life, and at least as far as I know he seems genuine. But yeah, I don't know great a lot, but he's trying to start some sort of pro-white communities in America and stuff like that. And as far as I know,
So apparently I am
he's he's not scamming people as far as I know. But like then last week when Fuentes said the thing about that he doesn't, as long as you're America first, I don't care what you do or what race you are and stuff. And then a lot of people on the right sort of criticized him for it. And this guy, he didn't criticize Nick Fuentes publicly, but DM'd him trying to ask, what do you mean by this? And then, I guess Fuentes got triggered, and now he's dead to Nick Fuentes. So let's listen a little bit. Not the whole thing. It's 23 minutes.
now dead to Nick Fuentes. He says he will never help me again, and he says that no one else should help me either. This is because I privately DM'd him asking for clarification on his stance on birthright citizenship. A clip was going around where he seemed to endorse birthright citizenship.
And by the way, I don't care what color you are. I know maybe that's going to be controversial on my side. But seriously, if you...
Yeah, so I'm not gonna play the whole thing, but so yeah, now Orwell, he's. Oh, wait, did
you
I
have
play?
citizenship,
Yeah, Fuentes is a
born in
Mexican.
this country, this is your birthright. This is our...
Okay, yeah. I guess I could, like, I'm debating with myself, should I play the Fuentes clip, but no, it's not that important. But it's like, there's one very good point that Arwol makes somewhere later in the video that, Fuentes basically, he helps himself. That, like, Arwol admits that Fuentes has been pushing the message, which is good, but ultimately he doesn't really help others. He doesn't do anything, like, isn't he like a millionaire or something? He could do much more to start communities or whatever, but it's basically all about ego for him. And Fuentes isn't the only one. There's many other people like him on the, let's say far right, like, Richard Spencer back in the day. Now he's openly liberal or something, but like he was clearly, not all in the up and up. Like, for me, when I think of Spencer, I think of like his Radix journal, like already back in 2011 or something. His one of the first articles was how the far right in Europe should, or in the West, should unite with Israel to, support each other and stuff. It's like, no, he was never our guy. Or like, Mike Painovich, or Mike Enoch of the right stuff, with his Jewish bio queen wife, who is, some hanging around with drag queens and stuff. Yeah, Fuentes gets thousands a night and gets annoyed by it. You mean because he doesn't get more money? Yeah. If I wish I got like, $5 a night. But yeah, Fuentes is, and what makes me, I don't really hate Fuentes so much, but I hate the fact that some people are suckered in by people like him who are clearly not very trustworthy. Like, you can listen to them because, Fuentes is charismatic, he makes good arguments, but like, I think, somebody else has generally made the same argument beforehand. He gets annoyed by comments. Okay. Okay. So he gets thousands in comments and gets annoyed by them. All right. Okay, yeah, but it's like, because the reason, and somebody would at this point, somebody might accuse me of like, oh, somebody gets popular in the right wing or conservative sphere or whatever, or like let's say traditional sphere, that means they're fed, right? Well, if they're pushed by the mainstream media and stuff, then it probably means they are controlled in some way, like but somebody like Orwell, I haven't seen any like Ben Shapiro's or people like that talking about him, or BBC or CNN or whatever. And then there's of course there was the incident also during Halloween that one guy was dressed as a SS officer, Nazi officer, and Fuentes was criticizing him. But here, Nicolas Fuentes says he's Team Hitler, and this is from this year, so it's not like something he said 5 years ago to be edgy. And also, I thought he's Team Stalin because there's this clip of him saying he liked Stalin as well. So I don't know what he's. I think that's one of the biggest problems with Nick Fuentes, that you don't really know what he supposedly believes because he keeps flip flopping on things. So. And yeah, so is he Team Hitler if he's so like pro whatever? I don't know what he's basically. Whoever supports him, he's pro them as long as they don't change their tune.
Wavy Girl for 86 cent, $25. Hey Nick, 6 feet 2 inches Haitian American from NY here. You truly
Fuentes has more Latino viewers than white, probably.
Can Haitians stand as girl eyebrows too? My first donation to the movement. Glad to be part of something real.
Absolutely. Everybody is invited to support America first. As long as you're not manipulating our goals, as long as people don't start to say, well, how about all this racial stuff? Like, anybody that supports our goals, we welcome the support.
Okay, I don't think that's wrong for him to say that. Like, if it's a donation from a Haitian. Yeah, good point. Yeah, I don't know if he's an actual Haitian or maybe somebody's memeing, but yeah, it's like you can say that if they support their goals, like you can argue that's a good thing. But of course, if it means the Haitian is living in America, sure is no. Nation is a race. Yes, generally speaking, but like, well, it's complicated. Like, how do you see white people as one race, or like, do you see Scots or English, Germans? Because America is a bit different than the rest of the world, but I don't want to go down that avenue. It's gonna take forever to argue it. Oh yeah, and then there was this. Kanye West held a private meeting with Rabbi Yoshiyahu Yosef Pinto Schlitt. What is this some rabbi rap music mumbo jumbo? Anyway, where he expressed deep remorse for his past remarks about the Jewish community. He said he came seeking forgiveness and a chance to begin a new chapter of repentance. Yeah, I'm not gonna watch the video, but because he came all DEFCON 5 a few years ago and said very comments critical of Jews, but now he's I guess apologizing, and I think that he announced a new tour just coincidentally after this one. And Nick Fuentes gives his take on Ye meeting with Jewish rabbi. He's my friend, so I don't care. I'm not going to support him through thick and thin. So I'm not saying this is bad either, but it's like I guess I would, if I was Nick Fuentes, I'd try to support Ye so that he doesn't have to grovel to these guys. That would be a good way to support him instead of just allowing him to, I don't know, humiliate himself in that way if he's truly his friend. But that's enough about Fuentes and Arwol and stuff. I don't know. I feel a bit dirty talking about Fuentes, but it's like I feel like I'm sort of obligated to like point out that he's not to be like, he certainly does make good arguments and he can be charismatic, so he has his role, but like don't, I don't know, don't confuse the message and the man or something. Like, the message that he's generally speaking, I guess you can say, is good, but the man himself is fallible, especially Fuentes is very fallible. But anyway, the J6 pipe bomber was a cop? Question mark. And there's also other Trump and U.S. government related news here. So the extent of multi-agency evidence tampering and cover-up here is staggering. It's a 100% Fedsurrection. So, masterwork by Steve Baker, USA, and The Blaze. Former Capitol Police officer forensic match for January 6 pipe bomber, sources say. So it's her, was Shawnee Kekwad, whatever her name was. Shawnee Kirkhoff. So yeah, it's a computer program that compared the bomb suspect's gait to that of whatever. Yeah, I'm not gonna read it anyways. I just wanted to check her name. So Shawnee Kirkhoff is the prime suspect, supposedly. And yeah, past employer, Capitol Police, crime evidence suppressed by FBI, crime evidence suppressed by the ATF, crime evidence suppressed by Secret Service, current employer CIA. So wait, is she working for CIA now? Now on protective detail for CIA Director Ratcliffe. Ratcliffe. I think that says it all. She's one of us, yeah. And Foundering says Massey has been practically the only member of Congress fighting for years to get the truth about the J6 pipe bomber. Trump is trying to oust Massey, things that make you go, yeah, like wouldn't you think that Trump wants the truth to come out about the J6 stuff? Whenever a Democrat brings a bomb to DC, they are praised. See Weather Underground. Okay, I don't remember the details, but I did actually meet the guy. What's his name? He came to Finland once when I still lived in Finland, and like he held a lecture or something. And Bill Ayers, is that his name? Yeah, yeah. But yeah, there's of course, you know, the government or similar agencies are usually behind people like that because he didn't go to jail or anything, right? And Israeli political donor Miriam Adelson will lead a $20 million campaign to unseat Republican Congressman Thomas Massey, Bloomberg. Massey is one of the few members of Congress who has been outspoken about Israeli influence in American politics and is known for criticizing Jewish AIPAC. Yeah, so who controls America? I'm so bored of pointing out the same stuff every week, but it's like it's still the elephant in the living room. Most people still don't address it, so I feel obligated. President Trump is reportedly weighing a plan to carry out military strikes against Maduro and seize Venezuela's oil fields in the United States. Yay! America, yay! That's, there was the meme back in the day that, when the US presidency changed from Bush to Obama, and the guy taking off his Bush mask and putting on the Obama mask and stuff. So now he's, um, Trump has taken on the Bush mask. Well, he hasn't attacked yet, but it seems like he might. Well, maybe. And here it says Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro is willing to step down if the US guarantees him amnesty, removes the bounty on him, and provides a comfortable exile. But Maduro did not say this, the community notes point out. An anonymous source spoke to The Atlantic and suggested the US offer Maduro a similar arrangement to entice him to step down. So, yeah, because I've seen this claim repeated by a few different accounts, but I guess it's untrue. You know, I don't know much about Maduro, but like, the more the American government, screeches about him, the more I like him, just because, the Zog doesn't like him. Donald Trump has threatened to sue the BBC for $1 billion over an editing error in a speech. The US partner NBC has obtained a letter sent from the US president's lawyers to the BBC. And I think that, like, the director or whatever, the boss of BBC had to resign over this stuff that, they had edited very selectively some clips about Trump and the J6 stuff, making it seem like he was advocating for violence or something. I don't know. It's like it was obvious back then it was BS, but like, the mainstream seems to be 4 years behind of, what people who actually pay attention know, like, what they're figuring out. And what does Trump say here?
Israel has never had a better friend than President Donald J. Trump. Israel has never had
a better friend than President Donald J. Trump. I don't know what's the context, but it's just depressing. And Massey here says, I should still point out that he's allegedly a member of the Order of the Mole, which is some sort of Masonic organization, which is like certainly sort of, I question his motives as well, but he's still mostly saying good stuff. So to avoid a repeat of last night's shellacking in the 2026 midterms, Republicans should quit covering for pedophiles, put America before Israel, put farmers before corporations, quit funding wars abroad, reduce spending to control inflation, and quit attacking independent voices. I don't know. I just, when I read this, I thought like, put farmers before corporations. What if we had like, the amount of exorcists in the world would increase like, 1,000-fold, and would we have less corporations? Because my theory is that corporations, at least the bigger ones, are actually demons. The way they can affect the real world is by possessing people via corporations. Massey was claiming after shutdown he would release Epstein files. More Q bullshit. Yeah, so the government is still in shutdown, right? So we'll see. I'm not expecting it to happen, but at least Massey is saying some, pointing out things like quit covering for pedophiles and put America before Israel. They're well put, like actually gets to the heart of the issue, sort of. So I do appreciate him saying stuff like that, even though ultimately if he's just talking about stuff, that's not so great. Oh yeah, and Trump also extended the length of a mortgage to 50 years. So yeah, here, enjoy this 50-year mortgage, different from you will own nothing and you will like it. Yes, people calling it, debt slavery and all that stuff. And yeah, there's people pointing out this. So in Germany in the 1930s, for each kid you got, like, you could get a house loan, and for each kid you get 25% off from the loan. So if you had 4 kids, you will basically get a house for free. And yeah, they were the bad guys. And yes, Hitler did really have a program where 25% of the mortgage was paid off for every kid you had. Meanwhile, in America, we are increasing debt slavery to new heights. While Jews are writing insidious news articles about how we are trying to increase white birth rate. Oh, the horror. Yeah. What's this? And Trump says he was in charge of the charge of Israel attack on Iran. I was very much in charge of that. I don't believe him when he says that, but it just makes him seem more pathetic. That attack was very, very powerful. When Israel attacked Iran first, that was a great day for Israel. I agree, great day for Israel. Right, and there's this. Asmongold explains that why he didn't vote for Trump, elaborating on the point by claiming that Trump has not gone hard enough on the things he has promised. I got promised a dictator. I got fucking scammed.
And so now you had Trump take office. And again, this is why I didn't vote for Trump. I didn't. And this is what I was worried about. I wasn't worried that Trump was going to be a dictator. I was worried that he wasn't. I was worried he was going to limp dick it the whole way through. And I've seen so many posts about this too, by the way. Let me go back over. I'll see, because I thought I got promised a dictator. I got fucking scammed. I'm scammed. What's going on here? Let me go over and see what this is. Yes, this is what happens when you don't arrest people from the deep state. How many deep state actors have been arrested? How many people have been charged with sedition and treason? Zero. How many Epstein clients have been revealed? Zero. World War III. I don't really think this is that accurate, but okay. Keep sending endless money to Ukraine and Israel. This is absolutely a problem. COVID vaccines don't really care about this much. Carry out Israel first, America last presidency. Yes, exactly. And so basically, Republicans lost votes because they became Israel first and continued spending, ditching Doge. Yeah, exactly. The idea of Doge, like how many of you guys, whenever Elon came up with the idea of Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency, thought, oh my God, I hope they get to the Pentagon. I hope they get to the military.
Okay. But Asmongold's roaches live like Saudi princes. I guess so, yeah. Like, I don't usually get my political takes from Asmongold, but like most of that was, very good points. And exactly like he wanted a dictator, and just to point out, dictator doesn't originally mean, a bad guy leader of a nation who, I don't know, eradicates people for fun or something. It comes from ancient Rome, and like, when your nation is in peril, you don't have time to have politicians squabbling over stuff, so you elect a dictator for like 6 months or something to fix the country and, like, so forth. So yeah, a dictator would be good in some instances. But yeah, he's got great points. I agree. All right, let's see. But let's move on to another topic. But yeah, it's well the like if the J6 pipe bomber, I don't know what did he or she actually like. Did they bomb or they just found the bombs? I don't think anything exploded, but yeah, shouldn't Trump be more interested in uncovering the truth about this matter? But so China shot Charlie Kirk. Like, no, I don't think so. But like, we have this very reliable journalist Laura Loomer saying, I just spoke with Congresswoman Real Anna Paulina, and she tells me that she has received evidence that China funded one of the groups under FBI investigation for ties to Tyler Robinson's Discord activity, where he may have discussed his plans to assassinate Charlie Kirk. Probably just a pipe. You mean not even just a pipe or just a pipe bomb? But yeah, I don't think it exploded, at least. So why all of a sudden is Laura Loomer blaming China for Kirk's assassination? Yeah, because I don't really see any motive for China to do it, except, okay, you could see it that, as a false flag to frame it on the leftists and then get the right wing and the left wing to fight against each other even harder. That's the only motivation for China I see. But I think there's a bigger motivation for another country, Asian country basically. You know, it's just West Asian, not East Asian country to assassinate Charlie Kirk because, you know, Charlie Kirk was supposedly sort of turning on that West Asian country. And then there's this. So Erica Kirk's father, Kent Francois, who headed up Raytheon Israel, opened a YouTube account 14 years ago. He only posted one video, but it is bizarre and stars Erica at the 3:23 mark. So it's like a music video. I'm not gonna play the whole thing. So they are survivors too. And I'm gonna, not gonna play the music if it's copyrighted or whatever. So not sure what this all of this means, but Tom Hanks disaster. So I don't know. Maybe it's just an ad, a weird ad. Looters will be shot. FEMA. Oh, okay. Plan for disaster. So I guess it's like, bad stuff is gonna happen, and so maybe they're like selling gear for surviving disasters and stuff like that. That's the take I got from it, but I don't know. So this is Erica Kirk, I guess. Yeah, I guess it looks like her. I cannot say with 100% certainty that's her, but looks like her. So I don't know what's up with that, but if this is the same Ken Francois, but probably is. If Erica Kirk is in the video, that sort of confirms it to be true. But quite can't say like what to make of it actually. Let's just move on. So internet and tyranny, just few random bits and pieces regarding those topics mashed together. So FBI tries to unmask owner of infamous Archive IS site. So FBI has subpoenaed the domain registrar of archive.is. They won't say what crime is being investigated. Sad, yeah. Because archive, I also use it. Every now and then because it's good for archiving websites. But if they're sued, the whole website might go down and we lose lots of articles and stuff. And Tyler Oliveira says he won't release a documentary on India's poop throwing festival after being doxxed. The YouTuber told Dexerto his family don't want to be involved in this anymore, and it's way worse than he could ever imagined. So man reports fact India attacks him. Like, what can you even say? I guess I should read Camp of Saints. Isn't that the book about millions of Indians coming to France as immigrants or refugees or something? I don't know. Like, as far as I know, he wasn't even making fun of India. Just reporting what happened. And okay, EU will require identity checks for all cash transactions exceeding $3,000 and all crypto transactions regardless of amount. All cash transactions over 10,000 euros will be banned. What the fuck? But it's cash transactions. How would they know if it's cash? Yeah, EU has to be destroyed. And these EU bureaucrats and politicians, they belong in an oubliette. I haven't mentioned the word yet today. Oubliette. It's the word of the year for me. Microsoft AI says it'll make super intelligent AI that won't be terrible for humanity. A new team will focus on creating AI designed only to serve humanity. Yeah, only designed to serve humanity. There's at least one Star Trek episode, like original series, about machines serving humanity and making everything worse. Like you don't even need Skynet machines to want to serve humanity and just fuck things up, basically. And as this news from Sweden, positive news sort of. Sweden's King Carl Gustav XVI slams the demands at UN COP30 climate summit in Brazil for the West to pay for more climate taxes on emissions. How are we actually supposed to pay? The king asks. After having been sent to Brazil to represent Sweden at the summit, the king has made a series of statements that are viewed as controversial by climate activists. You can think whatever you want about this, but how are we actually supposed to pay? That is the crucial question, the king said, and slammed the politicians' plans for richer to earmark more funds to combating CO2 emissions than such as China. That every country should be able to sign the same piece of paper, that's simply not possible. Everyone has to take their own responsibilities and do the best they can, the king suggested instead. He also criticized the fact that the EU countries, which account for only 6% of global emissions, are expected to pay huge sums if the new UN climate agreement is passed. Europe produces only 6% of emissions, and everyone still complains about that, saying it's too much, but the rest of the world is much, much worse, said the king. And AI is about to bust, and they are grasping for any government funding. It's possible, yeah. But so, like, who are they paying the money to anyways? Like, how is it, like, if the money goes to UN or the big bank in Israel or something, how is it supposed to help the climate to begin with? Like, this is so retarded. Like, who actually believes in this? Like, it's so obviously a whole scam. And like, there's one thing believing that CO2 emissions are bad, but then, believing that this carbon credit stuff is gonna help in any way except, the people making the money. So come on, man. Oh yeah, and then there's the controversy of ostrich culling in Canada. So there are some ostriches in Canada. I don't think they're native to Canada, but there was some sort of bird flu or something, and they all were killed or something. So the two responsible for wanting to kill these birds, Paul McKinnon, Food Inspector Judge W. Russell Zinn, make them famous. Those are the two men who ordered the killing of 400 ostriches for no reason at all. And wasn't it also like for COVID, at least like in the UK, some government officials wanted to kill all pets, because coof bad. Like, I would like to say eye for an eye for these guys, but let's just say they belong in an oubliette. Maybe that will keep me out of trouble. Professional marksman kill flu exposed ostrich herd in Canada, ending legal saga that attracted RFK Jr.'s attention. So yeah, I don't know. It's like, why ostriches? So are the only birds affected ostriches? And I'm not gonna go into all the details. It just seems so like these bureaucrats are completely evil and insane. And I want to say something about professional marksmen and these bureaucrats and politicians, but let's just say an oubliette will suffice for now. All right, let's move from, I don't know, all over the world to UK. So oil shills vandalize Stonehenge. And yes, I call them oil shills because it's not like they actually doing anything for the climate cause or whatever. So UK court has acquitted two Just Stop Oil activists accused of defacing Stonehenge, with the judge citing their climate change motive and affirming that people have the right to protest in a democracy even if others disapprove. Yeah, they have a right to protest, but they're doing more than just protesting. You can see here they're, besmirching the ancient stones. I feel like these guys are paid by oil companies to do ridiculous shit and make climate activists look like idiots and undermine real environmentalist effort. Exactly. They deface the monuments, paintings, car dealerships, but typically won't touch gas stations or oil headquarters. Exactly. I couldn't have said it better myself. And yeah, how the fuck does like especially Stonehenge? I'm pretty sure Stonehenge has zero carbon emissions or anything like that. Like, okay, lots of tourists probably go there every week, but that's not really the fault of the stones. They're just freaking stones standing there. And a UK man arrested for possessing gunpowder recipe. So I don't know if there's more to it, but I'm gonna assume there's not. Oh yeah, and I pointed this. Will they be arrested for watching the Star Trek episode in the UK? Because here Kirk makes gunpowder to fight this reptile guy, Gorn. And then the NRA, I guess it's NRA, National Association for Gun Rights, they posted this chemistry of gunpowder, potassium nitrate, blah blah blah, whatever. And some obvious bullshit nobody would take seriously 20 years ago. So what is it? Ex-footballer Joey Barton guilty of 6 counts of posting grossly offensive messages on X. So yeah, it doesn't say he's posting even death threats, it's just offensive. Okay, if somebody says something positive about Harry Potter or something, can I jail them or something? Or they like, I don't know, the Final Fantasy VII Remake? I find that offensive. Can I have them arrested? It's just fucking retarded. Oh yeah, an Algerian sex offender mistakenly released from prison reacts angrily as he's arrested. Yeah, so like I don't know if I'm, because this article didn't have it, but I somewhere else I heard that there was supposedly some letter sent to release the guy, but it was like a fake letter, and then they found like it was fake. We were not supposed to release him, and they arrested him again. And there's Kadura Sharif is a registered sex offender who was convicted of indecent exposure in November last year following an incident in March. Okay, it's only an exposure. That's better than struggle snuggle. Yeah, and there's. Oh, is this a different guy? It was Sheriff Kadoof. No, it's Kadoof Sheriff, whatever. And there's others too. He was accidentally freed 5 days after the wrongful release of convicted sex offender Hadush Kebatu. Both Kadura Sharif and Kebatu were arrested in Finsbury Park. Third man fraudster William Smith, 35, was mistakenly released from HMP Vansurat on 3rd November, but turned himself in on Thursday. So I don't know. Like, is this evil or incompetence? It's hard to say. And I don't wanna go too deep into trying to figure out this. This is UK. Like, it's a rabbit hole I sometimes want to avoid. Just look at the surface. The surface is retarded enough already. But then let's go to Israel delenda est. Israel has to be destroyed, otherwise we cannot have any sanity or stability in the world. And of course, talking about the political entity of Israel. So there's different news. So email and VPN company Proton Privacy announced that it has donated $100,000 to the Palestinian Red Crescent Society in Gaza. The result was swift and as expected. Proton customers unhappy that the money they paid for email and VPN services was being used for political. And I'm not unhappy about that. I'm not saying this is the best way to spend the money, but like better that than giving it to Israel. But, well, I'm not a customer of Proton Mail, but I do use it. I haven't, the free account. Looks like Proton Privacy is making it clear where they stand in regards to Israel. The Proton Mail company only appears to take strong political stances which are anti-Israel based, this time using terms like moral black hole and suggesting that doing business with Israel is an attack on human rights. Well, basically, yes. Ever seen what a moral black hole looks like? Google and Amazon agreed to never restrict Israel's use of their cloud, even when breaking TOS surveillance. So this guy, Landlook Journal, doesn't have an issue with Israel having special privileges with their cloud services and stuff, and sent payments to Wink when data was being handed over, and prioritize the government's demands over human rights. Yeah. Whoever this Landlook Journal is, or whomever it is, they belong in an oubliette. Multiple young people spotted in Nazi uniforms in Turkey today. Passers-by don't seem to care. Some even want to take photos with them. It has really gotten that bad. I mean, good. And hey, I'm not saying that um, going third alternative is definitely necessarily the right solution to all our problems, but I do agree that demonizing them in the way that we have been, that's inaccurate, because they certainly had some policies like switching from Weimar Republic to the 30s. They did improve things quite a lot, so they had some good ideas. That's something that freaking Star Trek taught me back in the day. Um, Oh, freaking way, Ben Franklin, this is unacceptable. Mark Levin, come look at this filthy guy. So, what did he allegedly say, Ben Franklin? Wherever Jews have settled, they have lowered its morals, depreciated its commercial integrity, segregated themselves, sneered at and undermined Christianity, built up a state within a state, and when opposed, tried to strangle that country financially. If you don't exclude the Jews from this nation in 200 years, your children will curse you, Ben Franklin. So I did see somebody claim that this is fake, that this quote is from like 100 years ago, not like 250 years ago or whatever. But I don't know whether that's true, but like it's still interesting comment nevertheless. And there's no community note, so it has to be true, right? London hospital was forced to take down drawings made by kids in Gaza because pro-Israel groups said they made Jewish patients feel victimized. What kind of sickness is this? Yeah, so plates designed by children from Gaza and produced by UK students at hospital school taken down amid legal threats from pro-Israel group. That's evil and insane. And the National Socialist Network protesting outside the North NSW Parliament in Sydney. I don't remember those abbreviations. Something North Southwest Parliament in Sydney with a banner saying "Abolish the Jewish lobby." Yeah, that's based. And once again, I'm not saying that the third alternative is definitely not necessarily the solution, but at least abolish the Jewish lobby. That's something I can get behind. YouTube quietly erased more than 700 videos documenting Israeli human rights violations. Tech giant deleted the accounts of 3 prominent Palestinian human rights groups, a capitulation to Trump's sanctions. Yeah, what can I say? That's just how it goes. So it goes. Kash Patel's girlfriend Alexis Wilkins is filing a $3 million lawsuit against Elisha Schaefer and other influencers for accusing Wilkins of being a Mossad honeypot. The lawsuit is the latest drama to involve Patel during his tenure as FBI director. So hey, I'm not saying she's a Mossad honeypot, but if I was, that's how I would be acting. And somehow this isn't AI. This is Laura Loomer, and I don't know who this guy is. Like I've seen him before, but it's like I don't know. This is like Giga Chad went Bogdanov and trans, and I don't know, just Lovecraftian or something. I don't know what's going on anymore. Like are either of them human? Seriously, can you prove to me they are human. American driver's licenses were sent directly to Tel Aviv from late 2023 until June 2024. X partnered with AU10TIX, I don't know, AutoTix. I'm gonna call it AutoTix. I'm not sure if there's some fancy way of saying it. An identity verification firm headquartered in Hod Hasharon, Israel, a suburb in Tel Aviv. So yeah, I think they're still verifying. If you become a pay pig on Twitter, you have to send your ID to them. That's one reason I haven't done it. Anyways, during this period, uploaded IDs and selfies were shared with AutoTix for processing. The data was stored by X for up to 30 days for safety and security purposes, after which it was deleted. AutoTix, funded by former Israeli intelligence officials, including Shin Bet's Unit 8200, handled the verification, making the documents accessible to their personnel in Israel. This raised privacy concerns, particularly among users in regions with geopolitical tensions involving Israel. Due to the potential risks of data misuse or access by Israeli authorities, reports highlighted AutoTix's ties to the surveillance tech used in border controls and its role in processing biometric data for global clients. Yeah, why does Israel have this special relationship with all these tech companies? I wonder. Why do so many Roman statues have missing noses? Well, it's because of the Talmud. Avodah Zarah 53a commands Judeo-Satanists to destroy the nose of statues to nullify it. It also hides the skull proportions. This proves Judaizers ultimately won during the early centuries. I guess. Well, not necessarily during the early centuries, but some point in the history. The Talmud discusses disrespecting idols in the context of nullifying their status as objects of worship, primarily in Tractate Avodah Zarah. The specific reference to damaging a statue's nose appears in Mishnah Avodah Zarah 53a. And yeah, I should point out that, that maybe that's why the Sphinx doesn't have a nose either. The Mishnah states that a Gentile can revoke an idol's status by defacing it. How does a Gentile revoke the status of an object of idol worship? If he cut off the tip of its ear or the tip of its nose or its fingertip. This is codified as a method of nullification, intentionally damaging the idol to show it's no longer revered. The act must be done by the idol's owner, a non-Jew, with the explicit intent to repudiate its divine status. Once properly nullified, the object loses its forbidden status and can be used for mundane purposes. But if it has to be the owner, then it's like, the Sphinx, who was the king of Egypt back in the day. Oh yeah, and then this book is going viral. Somebody had a video of them finding it in a bookstore. The Secret World, the Government, or Hidden Hand, the Unveiled History of 100 Historical Mysteries Explained, the Anti-Bolshevist Publication Association. So it's from 1926, I think. So, and this guy asks Grok to provide a summary. And yeah, you can find the PDF online. So the book alleges a secret hidden hand government of 300 individuals of Judeo-Mongol descent controls world events. It claims this group orchestrates wars, revolutions, and political changes for domination, focuses on the Rothschild family as key figures in financial manipulation, explains 100 historical mysteries as evidence of this conspiracy, ties the group to Bolshevism and asserts they aim for global rule, argues that major events like World War I were engineered by this entity, warns of a plot against Christianity and white civilizations, cites historical figures and events to support claims of covert influence, presents itself as revealing unrevealed truths in history, published in 1926 with anti-Bolshevist and pan-Slavic undertones. So I guess it will be interesting to read it to see how accurate does it seem now. Has any of its possible predictions come true, or does it depict how the world is now? If it was written 99 years ago, Wayne Gretzky. So Randy Fine, what does he say?
We are a people that has been kicked out of every place we've ever lived for 2,000 years. Every single place.
Yeah, so they've been kicked out of every single place they lived for 2,000 years. It's never their fault, though. Never their fault. Such a tragedy. And 28% of Gen Z have been aborted. That's insane. That's freaking insane if this is accurate. I don't know, like, does it mean 28% in the Western world, in America, Europe, or the world altogether? But yeah, that's evil. So yeah, Carthage never died. Carthago delenda est. Israel delenda est. Israel is a continuation of the same entity, in my opinion. And the modern economy is fake, all designed so white women don't have kids. So yeah, I think it's related to the same agenda. So finally get a job, average of 7 to 8 Zoom meetings per day, woman to man ratio is at least 10 to 1. I think I've talked about this picture before. This economy isn't real. I wonder what's this word here, short word. Starts with a J, ends with a W. It's daycare to make sure women don't have children. Yeah, basically. One of the main reasons, at least. Alright, then let's move on to entertainment, gaming and entertainment and cultural issues news. The last section for today. So Sydney Sweeney refuses to disavow the superior genes insinuations in her American Eagle ad. Everybody's probably seen
the criticism
it,
of the content, which was basically that maybe specifically in this political climate, like white people shouldn't joke about genetic superiority. Like that was kind of.
Why is she so triggered? Like, oh, white people, so should black people or Chinese people or Jewish people joke about genetic superiority? Or is it that white people shouldn't because they, I don't know, deep down many people believe white people to be superior? Like, I don't actually believe that. Especially like looking at the state of the Western world nowadays. It's like, perhaps you could make an argument that sometime in history that could have been true, but not nowadays. But anyways.
Like the criticism, broadly speaking, and since you are talking about this, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about that specifically.
I think that when I have an issue that I want to speak about, people will hear.
Yeah, so basically, I don't want to talk about your bullshit. I guess that's a good rebuttal to her, and I don't know. I think like still many people are praising Sydney Sweeney, but I'm more disgusted by her. Like she's sort of like a worm tongue golem kind of creature, this journalist. Okay, well, what's this? Him is mad that we noticed the gay propaganda on Apple TV Plus. So what in the actual fuck? I searched for Pluribus, so some new show, wanting to read some takes and banter with others about its debut and come across this shit. I know ignorance and homophobia go hand in hand, but this author is both ignorant and homophobic. Apple TV's Pluribus is yet another LGBTQ propaganda sci-fi piece on a network littered with them. Yeah, because that's one of the key points nowadays that, pattern recognition is considered bad. Like instead of, observing reality and making observations based on patterns, you're supposed to get your sense of reality from the authority, whatever it is, whether it's the government or the media or well, basically one of them, and whoever controls them, of course, creates reality. But this is like, creating real NPC and people robots. And Apple TV has created a lot of mystery around the Plus what Pluribus is as a show. It turns out this another quirky lesbian has to save the world. Why is every show on the network so heavy on LGBTQ plus propaganda. I don't know if I've ever watched any Apple TV shows. Maybe I watched some online and didn't know it's from Apple TV, but I doubt it. So don't know great a lot. Don't know that much about it. But I don't know more about this Pluribus show except I saw some people online talking about it. So okay, this is interesting. Stuttering Craig. And yeah, he was founder of Screw Attack, so he's surprisingly based, I guess. Like I thought he just does some video game stuff, but I guess not. I was watching Netflix's new series Death by Lightning. It's set in Chicago 1880, and this establishing scene pops up. In the foreground, an Asian woman, two black men, and a one legged man all walking together downtown. It immediately stuck out to me, so I looked up the actual demographics for Chicago in 1880. Here's what numbers say. Chicago's population about 503,000. Black population 6,500, so it's 1.3%. Chinese population 172 total, so it's about 0.03%. Chinese women about 3% of that, meaning roughly 5 total in the entire city. Disabled one-legged men in the Civil War era, plausible maybe 0.1 to 0.2% of the population. So if you run the math on the odds of seeing all of that, an Asian woman, two black men, and an amputee in one random 50% crowd downtown, it comes to about 0.00016%, or roughly 1 in 640,000. In other words, Netflix made a scene that's about as statistically likely as spotting a UFO on your morning commute. But hey, at least the diversity box got checked. Update. I looked closer. It's actually two black men and a black woman, not just two men. So I reran the math with that correction. The odds of this exact group, Asian woman plus two black men and plus one black woman and one-legged man randomly walking together in 1880 Chicago, about 1 in 2.4 million. Netflix just didn't bend history, they straight up violated statistics. Holy crap, it gets worse. The Chinese woman in the scene is dressed like an upper-class socialite casually walking beside a black guy in 1880 Chicago. Let's be clear, that would have been impossible. There were maybe 5 Chinese women in the entire city, none mingling publicly, and certainly not strolling downtown arm in arm with anyone outside Chinatown. For those asking if Death by Lightning is supposed to be historically accurate, yes, it's literally framed that way. The show opens with the screen. This is a true story about two men the world forgot. So when Netflix inserts statistically impossible 2024 style diverse crowd in 1880, Chicago is not artistic license, it's rewriting history while calling it true. I don't care if a black man and Chinese woman walk together on a screen, that's not the issue. It's ridiculous how blatantly tokenized it is. So yeah, that's just what I was talking about. Like, pattern recognition is considered wrong. I guess, no, I'm following him already. Oh no, I don't want to subscribe, I want to follow. I'm impressed by his thread here. Okay. Oh yeah, and then YouTuber Zoomer Historian, who had at one point almost 200,000 subscribers, was outed as a member of the fascist Homeland Party in the United Kingdom. So is it an actual fascist party, or is it just, quote unquote fascist? Despite his ultra-nationalist, so yeah, because he was banned from YouTube, that's the issue. Despite his ultra-nationalistic views, he lives in Eastern Europe and has a Latvian wife. Source: hope not hate. It's like okay, 100 years ago, I guess you could get away with trying to besmirch his name, saying like, oh, he's a British nationalist, but he lives in Eastern Europe with a Latvian woman. Like, sure, 100 years ago, I guess your average British nationalist might consider it an issue, but now it's like, yeah, okay, he's a white guy with a white woman, is like whatever. Where's Latvia in Africa or something? European guy with a European wife, what a monster. yeah, it's and as far as I know, like I've watched a few of his videos. Like not my favorite channel or anything, but decent enough. Like he wasn't promoting any ideology, he was being very neutral, which was like one reason I wasn't that into his channel. But I hope he bounces back on another platform or whatever. um Oh yeah, there's this game Aftermath or the Red Pine Lake that was banned from Steam because they had a woman in a bikini, like depicted from behind. So, update: we asked Steam for different agents, said we wanted the matter investigating for unfair treatment or full refund. Steam has given us a new agent to work with. The tone is very different, and I think they are aware of the noise this situation has caused. We have asked very specific questions into our situation and want to clarify on the rules, as going forward we have concerns about Steam's future. We respect that they have listened to our request and are willing to try and resolve the situation. We won't post anything from the support until we have some confirmation on what is actually going on and clear answers. Thank you to everyone who has supported us and brought us a light to this, but please hold fire. As mentioned previously, we are not trying to get other mature pages censored. We just wanted ours approving and not censored. Thank you. Um, so yeah, you heard Steam. In any single promotion material used on Steam, if you see a backside of a woman, you report it. Yeah, that's what they claimed last week. So I regret to inform Steam and Valve Software Half-Life 2 violates their own rule for promo material and it must be rectified now. After all, if Aftermath Z game is not allowed to have backside of a woman shown, no game can. So yeah, here is Alex showing her ass or the lack of an ass. But today is not the end of something, it's the start, because on this day we can say we won. Steam have decided to change the decision, not censor our page. We stood our ground and didn't bend the knee. Going forward, we can win, so can you, blah blah blah. So, thank you for your patience. After further evaluation, we don't think your graphical assets rise to the level of maturity in those linked guidelines, so we approved them for release. So, good for them. Of course, it's probably because they happen to get famous on Twitter, whether it was luck or something else. But like others might not have the same, if they don't manage to garner all the attention, they might not, if they have similar problems, get it fixed so easily. And GTA 6 has been delayed again. It will now be released on November 19, 2026. When was the original date? I know it was next year, but I don't know when exactly. But I don't really care. Like, I didn't really play GTA 5 either. Like, already GTA 4. Like, I liked. Well, I played the original GTA back in the day on the PlayStation, but like, I didn't like GTA 3 because I just think that the 3D wasn't very good. Like, the controls and stuff were crappy. But like San Andreas and Vice City, they were great. But GTA 4, like, the story was decent, but there was like ludonarrative dissonance because the protagonist was like, oh no, like, he's unwillingly gets drawn into a world of violence, but like, it doesn't work because, outside of the missions, you're just driving over people for fun on the streets, and then he comes to, a bar and it's like, oh, I don't really know about this. And also the gameplay was like, some missions were quite annoying and stuff. So yeah, I didn't really play even GTA 5. I think it's probably slop. Like, probably, would be entertaining for a while. But yeah, I'm not excited for this game regardless, even if it's not woke, and probably will be. Okay, Take-Two stock falls as much as 18% after announcing that GTA 6 will be delayed until November 2026. A verified Rockstar employee posted on GTA forums saying studio morale is at rock bottom and recent firings could cause further GTA 6 delays. They are not easily replaced and will certainly affect us in making our project deadline. So yeah, it's yeah, they fired some people. Maybe that's a good sign. Like maybe they're firing the wrong people and actually want to make it work. Hey, fog the wog, fog the wag. I don't know. It's chai comes. Yeah, it's always the chai comes. God damn it. And since Potato says here, if you're wondering why GTA 6 is taking so long, Red Dead Redemption has fully rendered 3D clouds that you can fly through in a game that has no flying. You can only see this once in the main story unless you use mods. Ridiculous amount of detail. And this is like, seeing this as a positive is why so many games are dog shite. Yeah, it's almost like, government making a game, except that, okay, it looks very nice visually and stuff, but it's like like wasting resources on something that's not important, like the clouds. Okay, sure, they do look quite impressive, but you know I don't care that much about graphical assets beyond like, oh, it looks nice. I care more about the gameplay and the story. Hello. Okay. Hello. Okay. And yeah, Red Dead Redemption 2 Ultimate Edition. Let's read this first. Was excited to finally purchase until I realized the price was lower on my wife's account. My wife doesn't play much, so buying it on her account may not be the best decision to keep everything easily accessible for me. Seeing this soured me on buying it quite a bit. And for reference, same region, same PlayStation, same currency, etc. So yeah, for the guy it's 19.99 bucks, but for the wife is 14.99. It should be 14.88. But so yeah, I guess it's because the wife they consider this guy is more likely to buy the game than the wife based on their customer preferences or something, and or habits. But I think this is illegal in many countries, but not in United States apparently. I'd be pissed off, like just stuff like this that I certainly are. And of course GTA 6, yeah, I mean the 5, GTA 5. The worst thing is the monetization. Like they were supposed to have like proper DLC with actual content, but they decided that it's better just to monetize the online crap on GTA 5, and yeah, that's one reason why I don't wanna mess with their online shit. Anyways, Sonic Rumble launches on Steam. No negative reviews due. No, says launches on Steam. 2 negative reviews due to pay to win skins and monetization. So yeah, this is a free to play Sonic game, and free to play games are usually the worst because they're not actually free to play. Like if you're poor, you'd rather wait a while and pay $2 for a game. But it's like, I don't know how the mighty have fallen. Like, okay, Sonic was free usually on, if you bought a Sega Mega Drive. I got a Sonic, or Genesis if you're in the States, but I got a free Sonic 2 with it. But it's not free because I bought the freaking game, the console. But yeah, I just think it's sad that that Sonic has become this kind of slop. I've never been like a great fan of Sonic, but I did like some of the Sonic games I've played back in the day. And according to a new survey, the typical age of Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy player is 42. Excuse me. Japanese company conducting market research polled 180,000 gamers in the country. The results show which titles younger buyers are flocking to. Several Square Enix games, including Final Fantasy releases, are struggling to find new audiences. So yeah, I'm around this age range, but hey, I'm not either in the target audience. I haven't played any new Final Fantasies or Dragon Quests. So I don't know how they only count the the new releases from Square Enix, or the old school JRPGs included in this poll. It doesn't really say it here. But I guess it means that young people aren't interested in these new Square games, at least, which is good. And Square Enix announces more layoffs as part of US and Europe restructuring. Nearly all areas of Square Enix Western business affected by latest cuts staff. So that's good news. I'll be right back. My son woke up. Okay, my wife is on the case. So yeah, it's good if they're firing, Western employees, because they're probably the cancer of Square Enix and their morality department or whatever it was. And Gremlins 3 will release November 19th, 2027 in theater. So it's just a week away. No, it's 27. Okay, that's not this year. So 2 years away. Chris Columbus is set to direct. I have no idea who is Chris Columbus, but I have fond memories of, especially Gremlins 2, simply because I've seen it more often. But like, I predict it's gonna be at best mediocre. Like, even if it's not woke, if it's maybe they're getting rid of that trend, but I still predict it's gonna be mediocre. Tim Sweeney, the man behind Fortnite, has bought over 40,000 acres of US wilderness, not to build but to keep forever wild. If this is true, that's actually pretty cool. Like, I don't like the guy, but this is a cool thing if he's doing, unless he's actually building some secret bunkers underground to do who knows whatever, what sordid business there. That's certainly possible, and he's just pretending it's for nature. But if it's actually to preserve wilderness, I appreciate it. This is good, but that land should belong to the public and not a person who can go back on that promise at any time. Well, also, if it belongs to the public, the government can go back on the promise as well. Former writer, scripter, senior game designer, and lead gameplay designer at Warhorse, so Kingdom Come 1 and 2, has joined CDPR for Witcher 4 as a senior quest designer. Doesn't sound good. Like, okay, Kingdom Come 1 is supposed to be decent, but Kingdom Come 2 is woke garbage. Like, okay, maybe some of the mechanics, there's probably something good about it, but it's woke. That's just a fact. So yeah, I don't have much faith for Witcher 4. Well, I didn't have faith for it beforehand anyways. Disney Plus price increase from $79.99 to $159.99, and it's starting November 19th. So, like, yeah, WTF, it's not that it's gonna cost $160, it's that, some people actually paid $80 for that garbage. Like, when Netflix appeared, like, 15 years ago or whenever, I thought it was lame, but at least it was good that, I think it was pretty cheap, like, was it $5-10 a month, and it actually had everything. But now it's the streaming wars, they've split into many different groups. So if you want, you could, back in the day, you could pretty much get any movie or TV show, I believe. I've never paid for Netflix, but I've watched it in a friend's place a few times. Yeah, insane. And the Marvel Games boss says Insomniac is the perfect studio to make Marvel games, and the partnership will continue for many years to come. So yeah, good. I want to see Marvel burn. That's all I have to say. I don't know. Maybe they did some good Marvel games years ago, but don't care that much. But I don't think recently they've been good, as far as I know. I don't think I played any of them, just, based on the critique I've seen online. So it looks like GSC Game World, the developers of Stalker, have forced Steam to take down the game Misery for currently unknown reasons. They must be mad, since Misery is a better game than Stalker 2. So it's a Russian game, I think, Misery. So fucking GSK Game World, send a strike for weird shit. Just look at the claims of those retailers. We will fight right now to return our game back. So this is official from the. Okay, I appreciate this kind of language. And hey, wait, shouldn't like how dare the Ukrainians use the word stalker, because that's the movie is Russian Soviet movie. Russia should sue them or something. Sci-fi movie. I've seen it like 30 years ago. Didn't understand much of it, but I did think it was interesting. So you don't own your Steam games. A purchase of a digital product grants a license for the product on Steam. Running with Scissors, the company that made the Postal games, you do own your Steam games if the developers release DRM-free versions and you back up the files. If DRM-free games, the only thing that can be taken from you is stuff like achievements, workshop support, etc. But if a game is taken from you after you bought it, then pirate. A based company, few companies are consistently based, and I think these are consistently fairly based. Like that takes. No interference in creative work. So Japan wants zero Western interference in creative works. Sounds good, but of course it could still be the Japanese government that interferes in anime and stuff. Japan's Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry, METI, has proposed new policy guidelines to boost the global reach for anime games, manga, film, and music while protecting creators' freedom. The plan emphasizes large-scale support, direct funding, and a firm commitment to respecting the creative vision of artists. METI hopes to expand Japan's content market overseas to 20 trillion yen. Wait, yen and yen. This isn't too many yen. So $130 billion or USD by 2033, giving creators the freedom to innovate and grow the industry internationally. Yeah, so I don't know if it's actually respecting the creative vision of artists. That sounds good, but it can backfire in different ways. Okay, Robert Egger says he has no interest in directing a film set in modern era. So yeah, I've only seen was it the Northman? It was okay, but it was I don't know, a bit too simplistic, like the story, just Viking man revenge, still surprisingly watchable modern movie. So he said the idea of having to photograph a car makes me ill. The idea of photographing a cell phone is just death. So no. Everybody says successful modern horror movies are always set in the 70s, 80s, or earlier because of the cell phone issue. I think that is a superficial excuse for the real reason, which is that there is no way to tell a convincing or sensible hero story in a modern diversity environment, and it is very difficult to sympathize with characters who are living a lie, pretending their environmental foreigners and transsexuals is normal and worth saving. A cultural backdrop a viewer can relate to and sympathize with requires a racially homogeneous and functioning society of normalcy, which then the horror is the protagonist. Modern life is the horror. I think he said he is. I'm sure I meant to say antagonist as well. I guess horror is the antagonist. Yeah, and somebody just said that it means that it's a polite way of saying he doesn't want black people in his movies. I don't know if any of his movies have had black people or not, but Northman didn't have them, which, it shouldn't because it's about friggin' Vikings. Baldur's Gate 3 voice actor admin Larian purposely injected transgenderism into the game. We'd already started recording, and we already had a lot of lines down with just he and she pronouns, but we brought people back. It's not voice actor, it's voice, I don't know, something voice administrator, I don't know. But we brought people back in to make sure, even if it's just one line, to say they, them. Yeah, it's a woke game. People say it's a good game, maybe it is a good game, but it's still woke. Like, hey, I think Avowed is I wouldn't call it a good game, but it's a decently playable game despite being woke. Larian's Michael Dow says QA workers know what is good and what is bad before the audience does. Baldur's 3 publishing lead slams Square Enix's push to automate 70% of debugging with AI. Oh yeah, that's one reason I guess they're firing people. The idea that QA people can be replaced at a large scale is stupid. Well, yeah, it's like the end product should have actual human beings with functioning brains, probably. I don't trust AI to check for mistakes and stuff. But somebody said here, BG3 had literally 3 fucking years of feedback before it released. I'm good with AI if I don't have to pay to be a beta tester for 3 days, 3 years. Yeah, and the last news is a new ad block just dropped. It's uBlock Origin, but it pretends to click the ad to confuse companies and waste their money. Yeah, except it's not new. I remember I used Ad Nauseam. Now I haven't touched it in many years. Just, I don't remember why I even, don't use it nowadays. But yeah, it's not new. But, it is. I like the idea because here it was created in 2014 already. I used it, I don't know, 5 years ago, almost 10 years ago. I don't remember. It's been so long. It says it's created by Daniel Howe, Helen Nissenbaum, and Mushov Zer Aviv. The names are a bit sus. Mark Koronke says, watch the video America in Peril by Mark Koronke on Rumble. Okay, so he's shilling his own video here, but okay, I mentioned your video. I don't know what it's about. Well, I guess you can watch it if you want. But that's the last news of the week. I don't know. I don't really have anything to add except that I don't know. Stay safe out there. Isn't that what they said in Hill Street Blues? So yeah, I'm Adventure Argonaut. I thank you for watching and bye bye.